How do you qualify for workers' comp benefits in Massachusetts? Hi, I'm attorney John Sheehan. Since 1993, I've represented thousands of injured workers and accident victims throughout Massachusetts. I fight to make sure that each client receives all the compensation and medical treatment that they're entitled to without getting taken advantage of by an insurance company. Well, in order to qualify to receive workers' compensation benefits in Massachusetts after a work accident, you first have to be able to show that you were an employee at the time of the accident versus being an independent contractor. Now, that can get a little complicated, and some employers can play games and actually misclassify workers and treat them or call them as if they're an independent contractor when a closer look will show that they're not an independent contractor, they're an employee. Such things as, were they paid in cash? Did they give the employee a 1099 form rather than a W-2? While that might sound like somebody that's not an employee if they receive a 1099 form rather than a W-2, that's not the end of the analysis. The law looks at things like, did the employer control the conditions of employment? Did they control the hours when the injured worker worked? Did they control what they would do, the order in which they would do it? Could they decide where they were going to work? Did they provide the injured worker with tools and equipment? Did the injured worker have their own company, or were they working exclusively for this employer, for this company, and under the control of this employer? The other thing you have to be able to show in order to qualify for workers' comp benefits is, did you have an injury? Did you sustain an injury in the course of your employment? Now, there are a couple of common ways that we see workers getting injured on the job in Massachusetts. Number one is the one that we're most familiar with, is they had an accident, meaning that they had a traumatic event. An accident happened to them on a particular date and time. But that's not the only way a worker can get injured and receive or be qualified to receive workers' comp benefits. You could also sustain an injury over a period of time doing repetitive movements. It could be movements with your shoulder, your upper extremity, especially if you're a line worker doing production work or assembly work or packing. You could be doing doing a lot of data entry or a lot of squeezing if you're forming boxes and packing materials or supplies or products. And you could develop carpal tunnel syndrome over time. Or if you're in the case of the upper extremity movements, you could develop an injury to your shoulder, which could include oftentimes an injury to the rotator cuff. Those are what we call repetitive trauma injuries. They're also referred to as repetitive stress. I call them repetitive trauma because they are traumatic in nature. It's just that they didn't happen in a single traumatic event, a single accident. It happened over time. Now, what types of workers' comp benefits can you receive? Well, you can receive medical benefits for your medical-related work accident treatment. That's benefits that the insurance company pays directly to your medical providers. There are no out-of-pocket medical expenses in workers' comp. There are no deductibles or copays. Workers' comp is supposed to pay for everything. The other type of workers' comp benefits an injured worker can receive, and this is what most people think of when they think of workers' comp benefits, are lost wage benefits. Now, there's three types of lost wage benefits: temporary total, partial, and permanent total. In order to receive workers' comp lost wage benefits, you're going to need a disability note from your doctor. It could be the doctor that you saw at the emergency room or the urgent care center, or it could be your own primary care doctor or specialist that you were referred to. And the disability note has to say whether you're totally disabled or whether you can work but with restrictions or limitations that the doctor will list out. And it also has to causally relate your disability to the work accident, the work injury. Now, it gets kind of tricky at the beginning as far as when do the benefits kick in. You have to be out of work 5 days before your employer is required to report the work accident to the workers' comp insurance company. And they have 7 days After the 5 days runs, your employer has 7 days to report the accident. Once the workers' comp insurer receives a notification that there was a work accident, then the insurer has up to 14 days to either start paying without prejudice or to deny the claim. So altogether, it could be a situation where 26 days could go by before you receive a workers' comp check or you receive a denial from the workers' comp insurance company. One last thing, in order to get paid workers' comp for the first 5 days missed from work, you have to be out of work, again with a causally related disability note from your doctor, but you have to be out of work 21 days or more. Otherwise, if you are out of work for a short time and you go back to work before the 21 days, then you will not be eligible to receive workers' comp lost wage benefits for those first 5 days missed at work. If your loved one has recently sustained a work accident in Massachusetts, whether or not you're receiving workers' comp benefits, perhaps your benefits have recently been modified, reduced, or terminated, or your benefits have been denied, you should contact an experienced workers' comp lawyer to discuss your case, to discuss your legal rights. If you'd like to speak with me, you could call my office directly. The number's listed below in this video. You can send me an email, or if you prefer, you can visit my website where you'll find contact forms that you can fill out and submit, and I'll reach back out to you, talk to you about your accident, your injuries, what's going on with your case, what I think the next steps are, and how I can be of help. And if you found the information in this video helpful, please like the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and click the bell icon below so you receive notifications of my future videos, and share this video with your friends and family.